Joining us live this afternoon is Stephan Thompson. He is a Republican political strategist and Governor Walker advisor. Joe Zepecki is a Democratic political strategist and former state communications director for President Obama and Mary Burke. So, guys, thank you both for being here. Let me start with the big question everyone is asking. Is Trump unstoppable? Stephan.
Well, I think that right now he's the clear front runner. I think that Marco Rubio has picked up a good amount of steam coming out of South Carolina. With Jeb Bush getting out of the race, I think he should inherit a good amount of his financial network and political support. But I think that right now, if Donald Trump's going to be beaten, that the 5 candidates in the race need to look at each other and decide who needs to get out, because with 5 candidates in the race, he's going to be very difficult to beat.
So what's this going to mean for Rubio and Cruz? What do they need to do?
Well, I think that Rubio, as you've seen in the last 2 days, has picked up a lot of Governor Bush's support. And I think that he needs to make sure that he has a national political infrastructure and a national financial infrastructure, because we have a long delegate slog ahead of us. 95% of the delegates are still yet to be determined here.
Yeah, a lot of delegates still out there. Joe, on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton getting a big win in Nevada. Is she now unstoppable?
Almost. If you think of the calendar this way, February is really about momentum. March is where it begins to be about delegates. And if Mrs. Clinton can win in South Carolina with a healthy margin, which is expected, I think she's well poised to have a very big Super Tuesday that, just based on accruing delegates, Senator Sanders would have a hard time making up that gap. So it really comes down to Senator Sanders needs to close that gap this Saturday in South Carolina and try and pick up some speed and momentum heading into Super Tuesday.
Joe, on the Democratic side, are you surprised on what some are saying is an enthusiasm gap? We're not seeing the kind of turnout they saw in 2008.
I'm not. It's a very different contest. And when you consider the fact that there's been a Democrat in the White House for the last 8 years, when you have a reality TV star leading the reality TV show that has become the Republican Party fight for the presidential nomination, of course a lot of the attention is on the Republican side. Once this is a one-on-one contest with a clear choice between a Democratic nominee and a Republican nominee, there's going to be a very clear choice for voters, and I'm convinced that the enthusiasm on our side is going to pick up.
Stephan, on your side of the aisle there, with Trump having the momentum right now, are conservatives worried? They fear that he could be the nominee?
Well, like I said earlier, it's still very early on in this process. After the Nevada caucus today, you've still got 95% of the delegates remaining. I think that we're not going to see a presumptive nominee until sometime in mid to late May. But I think that when you look at the turnout in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Republicans are excited and motivated. And when we do have our candidate, I think that we'll rally to their side and go on to beat Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders this November.
How fast will things move now? I mean, they've been going at a pretty fast pace, but it goes to warp speed as we go to the Super Tuesdays. Will that change the outcome here?
Well, the difference is now, instead of having one state focus, you've got campaigns all over the country, and it's very hard for them to move from one state to the next, given that they're proportional as well. So sometimes you're targeting a congressional district in one state and not the entire state. So yeah, the pace and the intensity really picks up here.
All right, give me a quick prediction, Stephan. You think we're still in this game come April 5th for the Wisconsin primary?
Absolutely, no doubt. I think that we're going through April and very likely into May.
Joe?
I think more likely that the Republicans are still fighting it out. I think less likely that the Democrats are, but a lot will depend on what happens in the next couple weeks.
As always, we appreciate what you guys are saying and thinking on this particular race. We'll check in with you next week. We have more political coverage of the presidential race on our website. Just go to tmj4.com/decision2016.